Job chapter 7 verses 1 to 7. I am filled with restlessness until the dawn. Job spoke, saying, Is not man's life on earth a drudgery? Are not his days those of hirelings? He is a slave who longs for the shade, a hireling who waits for his wages. So, I have been assigned months of misery, and troubled nights have been allotted to me. If in bed I say, When shall I arise? Then the night drags on, I am filled with restlessness until the dawn. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle, they come to an end without hope. Remember that my life is like the wind, I shall not see happiness again. In verse 1 we read, Is not man's life on earth a drudgery? Drudgery, at the time meant military service, or labor demanded in lieu of paying taxes. In the pagan religions of Babylon, people were created specifically to do unskilled and boring tasks that the gods were unwilling to do. Examples of such work would be to build houses and provide food for the gods. Job compares man to a slave who works in the hot sun, and longs for the end of the day when he could rest in the shade. Job is massively depressed because his body is covered with worms eating at his dead, and dirty scabs, and as a result he can't even rest at night. He compares man to a hired worker who only works to gain his wages as a reward for his labor, but sees little point to the work beyond the wages. Job recognizes that life is short and passes as quickly as a weaver's shuttle. Then realizes the only way to be saved from his afflictions is to seek God's help, because Job can't solve the problems on his own. The buzzard, the bat, and the bumblebee. If you put a buzzard in a pen that is 6 feet by 8 feet and is entirely open at the top, the bird, in spite of its ability to fly, will be an absolute prisoner. The reason is that a buzzard always begins a flight from the ground with a run of 10 to 12 feet. Without space to run, as is its habit, it will not even attempt to fly, but will remain a prisoner for life in a small jail with no top. The ordinary bat that flies around at night, a remarkably agile creature in the air, but cannot take off from a level place. If it is placed on a floor or flat ground, all it can do is shuffle around helplessly and, no doubt, painfully, until it reaches some slight elevation from which it can throw itself into the air. Then, all at once, it takes off in a flash. A bumblebee, if dropped into an open glass, will be there until it dies, unless it is taken out. It never sees the means of escape at the top, but persists in trying to find some way out through the sides near the bottom. It will seek escape where none exists, until it completely destroys itself. In many ways, we are like the buzzard, the bat, and the bumblebee. We struggle with all our problems and frustrations, never realizing that all we have to do is look up. That's the answer, the escape route, and the solution to any problem. Just look up to God in prayer. Sorrow looks back. Worry looks around. But faith looks up to God.